Hey, what's happening, fam? It's Ben here, and today we're gonna go through a mellow lower body yoga movement session. We're not going to really use our hands or arms, really. We're mostly gonna just use our arms to help us keep balance and to help us kind of move through space. But this is a lower body focused session. It's going to be pretty mellow as we just open up space. So this is good in the morning if you have tight legs. It's good in the evening if you want kind of a relaxing practice to wind down your day and really open up some space. Or it's good if you're feeling sore, if you've been working out doing some squats and you just want to open up space and work through your joints and tissues. This is a great practice for all of that. So go ahead and start in a laying down position. Find some of that nice mellow energy to start with. Go ahead and bring your feet together, open your knees out wide. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Place your hands somewhere on your body so that you can feel the structure of your physical vessel. Take a full breath in and a big breath all the way out. Two more like that. Take a full breath in. Big breath all the way out. Awesome job. Last one. Full breath in. Big breath all the way out. Beautiful. Take a full body stretch. Extend the legs long, reaching the arms overhead. Hug your right knee in toward your body. Grab a hold of the front of your shin. Move your right knee around, left to right, maybe in some gentle circles. Start to move through the hips. We're taking ourselves into some nice hip flexion here. Go ahead and extend your right foot up to the sky. Clasp your hands behind your right knee. Roll the ankle around a few times. But instead of just kind of lazily rolling around, see if you can reach for new space. Carve out space in the ankle joint here. Keep breathing. Keep softening into the ground here. And then take a few rounds of bending and re-extending your whole right leg. So you could do this for a few rounds with your hands behind your thigh or knee, or you can release the hands and see what it would feel like to just do this with your right leg. And so it may feel like a little bit more effort without the hands, but that's okay. Use this to unlock just some first layers of space in the hamstring. Good. And then from here, hug your right knee again. Place your left foot onto the mat. Left knee points up to the sky. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. And then without using your hands, gently encourage the right knee away from the body. Of course, you can use your hand here if you want, but by not using the hands, we're just bringing the work into the hip instead of letting the arms do it for us. So it's a little bit more of a mobility work than a passive stretch, which in my opinion is quite useful and nice to experience. You'll see I'm kind of ebbing and flowing. I'm kind of pulsing my right knee away from the body. Well, that's just because dynamic movement feels good to me instead of static stretching. But if you'd rather do a hold in any position, feel free. The nice thing about online yoga practices is that you're in your own space. Nobody's watching. You can really do whatever the heck you want, and I'll never know. And it's all good. Go ahead and release. Place both feet on the ground. Come into a gentle bridge. Press your hips off the mat, just enough to engage the hips. I'm not really worried about how high the hips come here. Just engage the glutes a little bit, right? Start to find space through the front of your hips. Try to keep pressing the hips up for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, slowly roll the spine down. Full body stretch, arms reach overhead, legs reach long down below us. And then hug your left knee in toward your chest. Grab a hold of the front of the shin. Move the leg around to open a couple layers of space as we move through our hip flexion here. Still breathing nice and fully. Still just happy for this opportunity to tune into our bodies. Go ahead and kick the left foot to the sky. Hands can clasp behind the knee or behind the thigh. Roll the ankle around, but again, scoop into the outer ranges of motion of the ankle. It might feel a little bit jaggedy at the beginning, but maybe we can start to smooth it out after we get those initial cracks and pops out of the system. And when you're ready, go ahead and bend and re-extend through the left leg. Again, I'm going to do this without my hands because it kind of feels good in my leg to have a little bit of extra oomph, a little bit of extra activity going on. But of course, you could keep the hands behind your leg to just support that movement. It's a good movement either way. And then go ahead and bring your left knee back in. Place your right foot on the ground, right knee to the sky, and cross your left ankle over the right knee for this figure four or reclined pigeon type shape. Again, encourage the left knee away from the body to work into your external hip rotation. And just find a few rounds of pulsing or find a space that feels comfortable to hold and hold it. We'll have another few breaths in this space. Letting yourself breathe. Giving yourself some grace today. Finding gratitude for exactly where you're at. Go ahead and place both feet down and then press into the feet. Again, gentle bridge pose. It's been a pretty mellow start to our practice, but maybe you can still feel a little bit of that heat and energy into the legs. It's a more subtle heat than if this was a more powerful class, but it's still an element of challenge and heat that comes with working through our joints. Take a breath in. As you exhale, roll your spine back down. This time, hug both knees in toward the body. Rock side to side for a moment. Rock forward and back. Come into a seated position. And then from our seated position, I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see me. You can do this sideways on your mat. Actually, yeah, let's all go sideways on our mats. You can always move where your computer or where your phone is if you're watching on one of your devices. And we're sideways just to give ourselves more room. So go ahead and bring your hands behind you. And we'll do windshield wipering through the legs, but we'll be a little bit more mindful of it. So go ahead and drop your legs off to one side. And then with our legs off to one side, focus first on the inner leg, so whichever leg drop down to the middle, and then peel that inner knee off the mat. Externally rotate at the hip. Eventually you'll reach a wall, right? Try to not move the outside leg, right? So only the inside knee peels up to rotate at the hip, and then once you hit the wall, rotate both legs all the way over to the other side, right? Once you get here, again, hands are supporting us from behind. Try to kind of sit up nice and tall through the shoulders. Start to peel up your inside knee. Work through that external opening range of motion. And then once you hit that wall, the other leg follows. And so it's quite simple once you get the hang of it. The inner knee starts to peel up. Once you hit the wall, outside leg follows. Inner knee peels up. Once you hit a wall, other leg follows. And then just keep rotating, again, originating the movement from whichever knee dips down into the middle. Let that knee peel up and let the outside leg follow. Otherwise, move at your own pace and try to be very mindful, imagining that you could feel the movement in the hip joint. So imagine you could feel the femur, the thigh bone, moving in the socket being part of the pelvis. Go a couple more rounds, because I know for some of us it takes a few rounds of this to truly start to feel like the movements are getting smoother and a little bit more comfortable. Good. Nice job, my friends. From here, we will go ahead and just stand up, right? No fancy transitions. Again, that's because I want this practice to be mostly hands-free to focus our efforts on the legs, especially if any of y'all are dealing with any wrist or shoulder injuries or anything. Go ahead and just widen out your stance. Shift to face the side of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Gently encourage your hips forward to create somewhat of a back bend. Feel hip extension being created, so space in the front of your hips. Lean back through your spine a little bit. Take a big breath in. Big breath out, almost like a standing camel prep pose. And then release the back bend, take it forward into a wide-legged fold, and relax the body down. You could take a little bend into one knee and then the other knee. You could shift the hands side to side. Just take like 2 or 3 more breaths to float around in this space. To settle in a little bit, to relax through the shoulders, neck, jaw. Good. From here, crawl the hands out in front of you, wide-legged down dog. I know I said we wouldn't get on the hands, and what's nice about this is it's like a variation of down dog where there's vastly less weight in the hands. There's much less weight in the hands. We have with the legs wide behind us, we're able to root and anchor down a lot more through the heels. So feel the weight in the heels, feel the weight in the hips that are pulling behind you, and feel the hands are just there almost to help us balance and to create a shoulder stretch. So feel your heart moving towards the bottom of the mat, or excuse me, to the floor, towards the mat, and feel the deep flexion in your shoulders. It's a good way to get a nice shoulder stretch without having to bear so much weight. And then go ahead and crawl the hands back towards your body and move the hands underneath your legs. Reach for a stretch here. And you might not be able to reach too far, and that's okay. Just work with whatever your space is allowing today. And then go ahead and stand all the way up. All right, so this is going to be kind of the most active portion of the class as we just create some activity through the legs here. So go ahead and in your wide-legged stance, take the weight into your right knee. So hips move towards the right edge of the mat. Your right knee can kind of come over the right ankle. And then take it as low as you can into a Skandasana lunge. Once you get into your Skandasana lunge, let your butt fall onto the mat. Let the hands come behind you. Right? And if that feels challenging, if you come down to your side lunge and it's hard to bring the hips all the way down, use your hands to make that transition possible. Once you get here, maybe move your heel out a little bit and drop the knee down into the middle of your mat. From here, take a few rounds of opening and closing with your right knee, which is actually just rotation in the hip. We feel the hip joint moving as we rotate internally as well as externally here. And then go ahead and place the right foot back as we prepare for side lunge, Skandasana. So lean the hands forward. Use the hands to help you here if you'd like as you come back into your side lunge. Back through the center to standing. Bend into your left knee. Shift the hips toward your left leg. Left knee comes over the left ankle a little bit and then sit all the way down. Use your hands if you want or go hands free. That's your choice. Once you get here, adjust your stance. Maybe move your left heel in front of you a little bit, hands behind you to support if you want, and then drop the left knee in. And then open and close. Find some nice, yummy movement through the left hip. This can be at whatever pace you want. I really want us just lubricating through the joint. And when we move our joints through their outer ranges of motion, we let the synovial fluid move around. Right? We're literally kind of lubricating through the joint. I think that's a nice metaphor, but it is actually kind of what's happening, right? As we move all that fluid around, we let our body know that, no, we do want to have this range of motion. We do want to be able to move through these spaces. So let's keep it available. Go ahead and place your left foot back down, preparing for your side lunge. Hands reach forward to make that happen. Lean forward, and then come up to standing. Into the center. We'll do 2 more on each side. So come down and bending into your right knee. Find all the way into your Skandasana lunge. Let the butt fall onto the mat and then drop your right knee down. Use the hands to support you in any capacity. Take a few rounds opening and closing through the right knee. And hopefully second round, this movement feels a little more available because this is admittedly, it's a movement that feels very strange to many people because it's not common in a normal human way of life to work the hip through this kind of rotation. It's just not in the normal activities that we do, right? So that's why it can feel quite strange. Go ahead and get back into your side lunge. Hands reach forward or to the ground to make that happen. Come through center and then rock it over to the left side. Plop the butt down. Move your left heel forward a little bit and then drop the left knee in. Hands support us from behind and then take some of those nice flossy rotations in the left hip, just moving, opening, and closing for a couple rounds. And then return to your side lunge, Skandasana. The foot places down, hands reach forward, lean forward, and then come on up. Last one we're doing. So into the right leg, butt falls, right knee dips down to the center, hands support us from behind, open and close through your knee. Just letting ourselves kind of ebb and flow between effort and ease here. And then go ahead and come in through your lunge. Last little bit of work here as we come through center. Switch sides, bend into your left knee, plop the butt down, drop the left knee, and open and close through your left hip here. Good. And then instead of standing up, we'll go ahead and stay on our mat. Just shift to reorganize your position as you come into a 90-90 position. So bring one leg in front of you. I have my right leg in front of me. My right shin is roughly parallel to the top of my mat, and my left leg is behind me in a little bit less than a 90-degree angle. From here, I want to frame the weight forward over my right foot, or actually, we'll start out more in an upright position. So try to find length through your spine, and then we'll just do this a couple times. Try to lift your left foot or your back foot off the mat. Just kind of lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. And we'll let that go because it can get into like cramp city sometimes doing movements like that. So before we fold forward over the front leg, we're going to do a restorative stretch in a second. But before we do that, let's find a little bit of kind of mindful effort. So go ahead and just barely lean over the front leg. We're mostly still upright. And then drive the whole front leg or the whole right leg down into the mat. So drive the whole front leg into the mat, as well as flex your right toes back toward the shin. And then drive down, drive the whole leg into the mat here. You should feel the whole outside of the leg fire up, all these muscles working to press the leg through the mat. Imagine that you could press through like a trap door and just completely break through the floor. That's how much we're kind of working here in this active external rotation. Push, push, push for another 3, 2, 1, and then sit up and try to lift the whole front leg off the mat. You'll see I'm putting in like 80-90% effort here, and my heel is like 2 millimeters above the mat, right? So that shows how hard this is. For most of us, there won't be any movement, and even I'm cheating a little bit because I leaned back to be able to lift it. Ideally, we don't lean back. We find the sensation of lifting, right? All that matters is that you find the sensation of peeling the leg off the mat. You'll feel the whole inside leg really fire up, all those tissue, all those muscles working, and then relax, woo, and then pull yourself into the stretch. So now we relax, but before we get into our stretch, get into it mindfully. Lead with your belly button, long spine. Don't just fold into the stretch, pull yourself into the stretch. And then relax into it. All right, so we've done actually a fair amount of work so far. This is a position that we'll get to hold, right, for about 1 to 2 minutes. See what you can do to slow down the breath. See if you're able to gradually progress yourself a little bit deeper into the stretch here. Where can you soften, whether it's the upper body or the lower body? Just letting yourself breathe. Try to simply be present with whatever sensations are coming up to you right now. If you want to find more of a half pigeon pose for our remaining time here, of course, that's a potential option that you could take. Otherwise, breathing, and maybe at this point, you take the opportunity to fold maybe 1% deeper, maybe even like a full 20% deeper, taking another layer of depth into the stretch. Just take another handful of breaths here. Great job, everybody. Try to just take one more full breath in, one more big breath out. Start to release out of the stretch. Good. Come back to center. Before we switch sides, open the legs out into a wide straddle position, doesn't matter how wide, and just let yourself rock the weight around. Maybe you go back and forth into some light side body stretching. This is just to bring space back into our hamstrings, as well as into our upper body, because some of those folds, while they feel really nice in the hips, they can sometimes create compression in other parts of our bodies. So just take another 3 breaths, another like 15 or 20 seconds to move through space before we transition into side number 2. Awesome, awesome. Let's go ahead and find side number 2. I'm going to turn around on my mat so that's y'all can see me because it's easy for me. And then go ahead and frame yourself, right? We'll hit the back leg first, so kind of sitting up nice and tall, and then try to lift your back foot. That's my right leg, so I'll say right. Lift our right foot or back foot for 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, all done. And then lean forward a little bit, framing the weight over your front leg, and then press down. Start to ramp up the energy. Drive your front leg into the mat. Find like 80% effort. Find a real hustle here, really driving like we're trying to break through the floor with our front leg, and then drive down for 5. Keep driving for 4. Find your effort. Feel the outside of the leg working hard for 3, 2, and 1. From here, maybe lean back a little bit. Try to peel the left leg or the front leg off the mat. Float the heel, even if it's just floating by 0.000001 millimeters, right? Just try to float it enough to slide a fraction of a playing card underneath it, right? It's all in the mental. You might not physically see the leg lift, but I know you can feel it if you're putting in that work. So peel up, peel up, peel up, and then release and pull yourself into the stretch. So again, instead of just folding and plopping ourselves down, pull yourself forward with your belly button leading. Reach for the space in front of you, and then eventually you'll find yourself in a longer stretch. It might feel a little bit more challenging, and that's because we are not taking any shortcuts, right? Then relax into it. Let yourself breathe. Again, you have time here to first get your bearings, second, to adjust the posture in any ways you might need to adjust, and then third, to settle in even deeper. So you don't have to be putting in any effort here. Just breathing. As we find slower parts of the practice, just know where the mind, notice, where the mind might wander off to. Notice what thoughts are coming across the movie screen of your mind. When you're ready to release another 1 to 20% deeper, go ahead and do so. And I say 1 to 20% because it really depends on what kind of space you're in. Some of you may have immediately gone to your fullest capacity, deepest stretch, whereas some of you may have started out in a more mellow capacity, leaving more space to fold deeper later. None of it is right or wrong. All of it just is, but it's still good to be aware into what space that we're operating in, as well as what our autopilots are. A lot of times we move our bodies and we find specific movements or yoga poses without even really thinking about it, without questioning the position or the alignment. Take another handful of breaths to round out the second side here. When you're ready, go ahead and lift out of the stretch. Return to your wide straddle position. Take your time getting there. We do have a little bit of work here, but we're sitting down for all of that work, and it's probably the last challenging thing that I'll have us do for this class. So go ahead and bring your legs wide. They can be any amount of wideness that connects with you in this moment. Sit up through the spine as tall as you feel like you're able to. From here, hands extend wide / up into fists, and then lean forward. Press down through the heels, down through the legs, and hinge forward to whatever extent you can without using the hands, and then come back up. And then hinge forward, reach the hands and lean, press the legs down, and then come back up. We'll do 3 more. Hinge and lean forward, press down through the legs, and then come back up. Hinge and lean forward through the legs, come back up. Last one, hinge and lean forward through the legs, come back up. Bounce out the knees a little bit. Nice. From here, legs can both extend out in front of us, and then we'll find a gentle twist. So for our twist, we'll first hop the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Right leg can stay extended if you'd like. And then twist to the left. Left hand behind you, right elbow or right hand can hook around the left knee to create your twist. And then I'll cue some movement for us with our breath. So on your inhale, lengthen your spine up. As you exhale, twist 1% deeper. Inhale, lengthen the spine up. Exhale, twist deeper. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Last one, inhale to lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Come back through center and lean to the right for a moment just to provide a counter stretch. And as you come back through center, we'll switch sides. So extend your left leg. Right foot hops to the outside of the left knee. Twist to your right. Right hand behind you for support. Left hand or elbow hooks around right knee to create your twist. And then when you're ready, inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist. Last one, inhale to lengthen up. Exhale to twist. Pause for a moment. And then release and rotate through center. Lean over to the left for a counter twist. As you come back through center, roll onto your back body. Once you get onto your back body, once again, feet together, knees out to the side. Bring your hands to rest on your body somewhere. Let the eyelids close. This was the position that we started our practice in, so maybe take a moment. For those of you that are still with me, first of all, thank you for sticking with me throughout the class. And now let yourself experience this posture from a different perspective of already having been here. But since the last time we've been here, we've been through a myriad of different ways to open through the hips as well as the lower body as a whole. Let yourself take about 3 more nice full breaths. Bring your feet onto the mat when you're ready. Bring your feet wide, so feet are like mats with distance or even slightly wider, and then knock the knees together into the middle. Right. So we're just flipping the rotation of the hips from external to internal. You could choose to hang here. You could take it deeper into like more of a hero's pose. Right. The wider you bring your feet, the more you'll deepen that internal rotation. And then same thing, we'll take about 5 total breaths here. Let yourself soften into the earth. From here, we'll make our way into our final resting position, which I'll recommend as a starfish type position. So it's almost like the wide version of a snow angel, right? Like imagine yourself drawing a snow angel and then pause at your widest space. So legs reach all the way wide out below us, arms reach wide towards our sides, and we're just placing the body in an extremely open position. As you land yourself here, let the eyelids close. Let any effort release out of the body. Just simply let yourself exist in this space, knowing that you deserve rest now and always and forever. Let yourself breathe deeply. Let yourself release any need to be or do anything, simply embracing the opportunity to rest. My friends, this is where I will leave you today. I'm very thankful and honored and blessed to lead this space and for you to join me on this practice today. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your rest here. Stay as long as you need. And I wish you nothing but peace along your journey. Much love, my people.